15, 20 minutes, and like even in the like the movie poster, you know, they're all in it, and she has like a nice haircut, and like it's totally not what she looks like in the movies. So you're like, okay, yeah, she's like a main character. They just fucking off her in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene, that whole rooftop scene, like when did she have the time to come up with that like Kevin McAllister ass fucking booby trap?
Yeah, if she was like, that's a good. I never thought of that. It's like, how did she have time to prowl around the rooftop and build this contraption for Michael when she's like having to pretend to be comatose all the time?
And then how does he know how to act like that guy that she killed in H2O? Like, she killed the wrong dude, and he kind of acts like the same way, like you said, like he puts his hand out, or like, doesn't he cover his ears or something like that, right?
He does. Yeah, he does this shit that if you watch H2O, that guy, the victim or whatever, does. And unless, again, they could have shown this in a flashback, like have Michael be watching or something. But you know, in my opinion, if Michael Myers really was able to get away with that, why not go after Laurie when you go out? He walked off into the woods, right? And he takes his weapon with him, so why not go finish that shit right there? You know what I mean?
I never thought about that. You could have just walked up to the scene.
And she would have been like not even expecting it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think that the real Myers, he's not gonna wait however many, because H2O came out in 98. This came out in 2002. I think the sanitarium stuff that happens is supposed to be in 2001. So he waited all those years, like he waited all like those couple of years to be like, fuck it, this Halloween, you know, I'm coming back, bitches. Like, why then, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And then going back to where we are in the story, how did he, and where did he get the money to change his mask? Because he clearly, it's a different sculpted mask than H2O. And why is this guy so fucking clean? If you look at him when he fucking kills Laurie, the guy, like his overalls and everything, he's fucking polished as hell.
Spotless.
His
wasn't he living under the house?
Yeah, they don't tell that. They don't tell us that till later when we get further into the story where everyone's in the Myers house and stuff and all the fake clues and everything, which we'll get there later. But yeah, they do say that he's been living in these fucking tunnels that I don't know how it makes sense that there's all these tunnels under his little ass house.
Like the Myers house is above like the catacombs in Paris, and it's just like intricate fucking tunnel system.
Yeah, but he's been living down there, and he has like this shitty bed, and he's like feeds on what looks like rats and probably dogs because he hates dogs, I think. as we've seen in other installments, but yeah, he's a fucking barbarian ass dude, you know. He's like an animal, so why the fuck would he be so clean, especially if he had been living under there, obviously, for all that time. And I think we just go in right to like Haddonfield University, right?
Yeah, that's when they're trying to get her to like fully sign up for the fucking reality show. And you're just kind of just like thrown into this story without any like, you don't get to know these characters at all, except for except for this first like 10-15 minutes when they're doing the like the casting call after she's agreed to go and do it.
Yeah, they're basically her friends. What's her name? Sarah, who is pretty much our final girl, I guess. Is kind of swindled to join this weird hybrid like internet reality TV show, because I think that was what was big then, you know. And I think there was like a real kind of, in my opinion, I feel like horror was struggling like a lot, where they were trying to just keep like play with the trends of that time, you know, to keep relevant.
Yeah.
Whether it be with the soundtracks and whatnot, like they were struggling a little bit, you know, and this is a prime example of this, where they use these kind of cheap gimmicks, and what you get, like your final product, is kind of, you've cheapened what H2O was, you know, with this next one in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I feel like going back to like just the movie itself, like I think it was a decent like premise, like that kind of found footage. It's kind of found footagey.
Yeah.
So I think it if it was done right and it could have been something bigger than it was, but it was not done right.
Let's talk about, alright, so our characters, we have Sarah, who's our final girl, Donna, and then Bill, who is the American Pie kid, who is super creep in this. Jim was Rudy, who is like the cook, and then of course Freddie, who is Busta Rhymes, the best character maybe, and then Nora, who is Tyra Banks.
Yeah, what's it? I had totally forgot that the dude that plays Deckard was in it, because he's in the Disney classic Smart House and
yes.
Luck of the Irish.
I'm so glad that you remembered that, because I wanted to talk about that so bad, because ever since, even from the very first time I saw this movie, that's all I could think about. Is like, why the fuck did they get this dude? No shade thrown towards him, you know, like I like those I watched those movies growing up, you know, but it was just like seeing him in this was just like, what? And then he's like, I don't know, like you could just see how, like, culturally, how we, like, the things that people were able to get away with, like his character, what's his alias that he goes by? Deckard, right?
Deckard, yeah.
Yeah, so he's this, I'm pretty sure, like, this high school kid who's talking.
Yeah, high school.
Who's talking to Sarah, who's our main character, posing as like that he's of age, pretty much. So he's catfishing this girl. And we follow him as like the outside perspective to the Myers house story, but it's just kind of like, for what? Like, it really doesn't go anywhere otherwise, like other than like she gets some like kind of helpful tips from him on her goddamn Palm Pilot.
Fucking Palm Pilot, the star of the show.
But it's just kind of like, okay, like this guy's like a shitty dude who's just like creates like a fucking alias and talks to like older chicks and makes them think that he's somebody he's not. But then like they try to present him as this kind of like heartfelt hero type of dude, and it's like, nah. And it's funny because it's like most of the guys in this are kind of like shitty people. Like they're just trying to grope women, and
exception of like
maybe Busta and
Rudy.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the others are fucking huge turds.
I don't know. And then it's kind of just like boys will be boys kind of vibes that I'm getting. And
no, yeah, that's exactly the vibe they give off. Especially with fucking Bill, like, isn't there a scene when they first get in the house and Bill like just puts his hand on Jennifer's shoulder for like no fucking reason, and she tells him something like, "Can you not touch me?" Or like, "Why are you touching me?" He doesn't say anything. He just kind of like shrugs, and she's like, "Don't touch me." Like, so fucking random.
Yeah, like somebody wrote, unless that was improv, which is fucking weird, but I would just like, why? And that's the point, is like, maybe that's why this movie turned out so bad, is because, you know, more than half the characters you don't give a shit about, like to the point of where you don't even care, like I didn't even care to see them die, you know what I mean? I just didn't want to watch this movie anymore.
even the main character, like our final girl, Sarah, like you don't really care about her either, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's just, you don't get any backstory, you get nothing, you just get like thrown into this fucking shitty story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, because they waste so much time. I don't want to say waste, because of course I love Laurie Strode and Jamie Lee Curtis, but they have a short run time and they spend too much time in the sanitarium to wrap up this other story. So then we're like, I feel like everything is rushed to come after, you know? And then when we meet Sarah, there isn't, like, other than her twirling her hair like fucking Jamie Lee Curtis in the school, it's just kind of like, okay, like, why her? You know what I mean? And then when they're doing the casting call, she like screams and fucking supposedly breaks a fucking glass.
She does it twice throughout the movie. It's like she has a fucking superpower.
It's like, okay, Black Canary, calm down. And then everybody's all like stoked. Like, remember, Freddy's all stoked, like, oh yeah, that's my star. And it's like, dude, she's not a star. Like, she doesn't even want to be like doing this, you know? And then even when they get into the house and they have like the big kind of like ribbon cutting shit, and they get locked in, they're like not even stoked to be there or whatever. Like, they don't even really go around. They take their time to like start, you know. And it's like, dude, aren't you guys like on TV? Like, I don't know, go do something. And then another big plot hole for me, and I don't know if you've thought about this, since you watched it, I think you said 3 times. So Freddy and Nora, aka Tyra Banks, like supposedly went through this house, right? Michael Myers' old house, and they put all of these fake clues and props and false walls and shit, and somehow didn't run into Michael before.
Well, didn't they put that, like, going back to that, they would have ran into him, because didn't the key from the high chair open up the sewer drain to go inside to the tunnel?
Yeah, and that's where he was living, right? I think.
Yeah.
Unless they just like didn't go down there, but I think they did, because when that redhead and that other dude go down there and they like bang or whatever, and then the fucking false wall falls on them, and it's like corpse parts and all this kind of stuff, but then they see that it's bullshit because it says made in Taiwan, right? That was in the sewer, but it was just not they didn't go all the way back to where Michael was. But I just find it, again, pretty far-fetched that supposedly Michael was missing all that time, and he was living in his house, and he's not gonna know when these motherfuckers are rigging up his house? Because all of that shit was set, which means that crew